Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus. Available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Welcome along to the Racing Post Grand National Postcast. It's the biggest horse race in the world anywhere, so we have assembled a top team to look at it and pick out the best bets for you. I'm Bruce Millington, and I'm delighted to be joined by my Racing Post colleagues, Paul Keeley and David Jennings, and from Paddy Power, Frank the Tank Hickey. Before we get cracking on the Grand National and the lads tell you who's going to win, I just do need to read out an email I got this week from a man called Charlie Tate, in brackets #1 in the Frank Hickey fan club. He said that last week, upon hearing Frank being so bullish and tipping, "Oh, this is us" for the Lincoln, he had the bet of a lifetime. He had an each-way Canadian on Ryan Moore's first rides at Doncaster last Saturday. He had a non-runner, but he had 3 winners, and "Oh, this is us" just got beat. He managed to pick up £2,200, but after a night celebration, he calculated the photo was a 50 grand swing. However, he is very grateful to you, Frank, even though you didn't actually tip the winner. But well done you. So thank you very much, Charlie, and we're delighted to hear that you're now an avid follower of the postcasts. So no pressure, guys. We need to know who's going to win the Grand National. But before we find out who the lads fancy, Frank, give us a nice big show from Paddy Power on the 2017 Grand National.
Yep. Vili en Rouge is our favourite at 10-1. Definitely Red is 11-1. More of that and Blackline are 12-1. The Last Samurai, Cause of Causes, Uccello Conti and Pleasant Company are 14-1. One for Arthur is 16-1. Safra Daru 18-1. The Young Master and Vicente 20-1. Highland Lodge 22-1. Raz de Marie Rogue Angel 25s. St. R, Just a Par, Stellar Notion, Thunder Roses and Bless the Wings are 33s. And we're 40-1 bar.
Great stuff. What's the each way situation?
We are, I think we're 5th, 6th.
Okay, jolly good. Nice one. Right, Paul Keeley, we'll start with you. Before you tell us the horse or horses that you fancy most, what sort of Grand National have we got this year in terms of the field kills?
I think it's possibly the most open one I can remember. I mean, I was doing a preview in a weekender the other day, and I was thinking to myself, I could actually make a fairly cogent argument for at least 30 of the runners. I just think it's 11-1 the field at the moment. I'm sure it'll be slightly bigger than that on the morning of the race when all the bookmakers started competing with each other, and it deserves to be.
And obviously the big tip, regardless of going through the form or anything, Paul, is if you want to, or if you want to get the best value this year, you take the morning price on Saturday, don't you? Do not let your bet run at SP, because what happens is that the on-course bookmakers bet to a slightly less punter-free and the prices tend to tumble. So do take it. You've got best odds guarantee with Paddy Power and all the major firms. So that is one absolute certainty. David Jennings, what are you looking at here? Not specifically, but I mean, how confident are you going into the race?
Well, my national record is atrocious, absolutely atrocious, as most listeners would say, my weekly record. But the last winner I backed, I think, was Earth Summit. I was about 11, I think. But it's a race I love watching and I thoroughly enjoy it. But from a punting perspective, it's just not my cup of tea. I thought I'd found that winner last year in the Drew's Nephew, who was my strongest fancy for a long, long time, and he jumped deplorably. And after that, I said, I'm never having another bet in the National, and I've already backed 3 horses for
like
this year.
Childbirth, isn't it? You forget the pain. Frank, are you a good national punter?
My normal strategy is pick 4 and back them each way with the extra places, and I've managed to poke out the winner 2 of the last 3 years. So I'd be hopeful this year as well.
Really? You're looking at it nice and big. Okay, right, we'll start off with Keels. Who is your #1 pick for the National?
Yeah, #1 pick is Mouse Morris's Rogue Angel, who won the Irish National last year. You remember Mouse Morris trained the winner last year of All the World, who was second in the Irish National the year before. Mouse Morris actually sends over 2 Irish National winners in Rogue Angel and Thunder and Roses. And I thought Rogue Angel ran really well for a long way in the Beachy Chase, and I thought that was just a nice little sighter. He's only had 2 starts since, finished 9th in the big handicap at Lepstown, then 5th in the Thyestes, and I think he's been absolutely primed for this. Obviously doesn't mean he'll win, but he handled the fences really well, and I think he'll go well, about 25-1.
Okay, David, your #1 fancy?
Just on that, a very, very rare Mouse Morris interview will be in the paper on Saturday. I went down to visit him on Monday, and he is a character. Of all the interviews I've ever done, I think this was potentially the most enjoyable, the most bizarre. But you can read all about it on Saturday anyway.
Did you get a tune out of him?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I get on quite well with him.
Right.
He's just like you wouldn't say.
Who's more talkative, you or him?
Well, let's just say my sentences last for about 10 minutes. His lasts for about a millisecond. So, like, you've asked a question, and then you might take a sip of your coffee or something, and he's already answered the question and is potentially smoking his second fag. So, the answers are short and snappy. But he was very keen on Rogue Angel. He's not one, like, he doesn't get carried away. He said, look, it's a lottery. I've two chances. Like, he thinks his two chances going this year are better chances than the two he went with last year, with Rule the World and First Lieutenant. He is quite keen on them. And, you know, Brian Cooper had a good few to choose from here, and I think from a long way off he was going to be riding Rogue Angel, so I certainly wouldn't put anybody off. I can see where Paul is coming from with Rogue Angel, so he certainly has a chance. The one I like is the Young Master. I backed him at 25-1. I think he's very, very solid. He won the old Whitbread, I think it's called, the Bet365 now, last season. And it's funny, I had a conversation with Neil Mulholland quite a while ago. I think it was in Punchestown 2 years ago, when I was one of the founding members of the Drew His Nephew fan club, and to my detriment at Cheltenham. But I said to him, like, the Drew His Nephew, could he be a Gold Cup horse? Like, you know, and he was like, no, he's not. And I said, but sure, like, he'd be in a different league to the Young Master, like. And he was like, no, he wouldn't, no. Like, he seemed to suggest that the Young Master was the horse he was most looking forward to going forward. Now, his career has been a little bit checkered since he won them handicaps a couple of years ago. But I did like his run in the Ultimate behind on Tom Spur 2. I thought he blew up and then ran on again. He was sixth. He was beaten 21 lengths. Sam Whaley-Cohen has a terrific record. I think he's got the best percentage finishing record than any other rider. He seems to get the hang of the place. I thought he gave Ranjani Express a brilliant ride to win the top of him a couple of years ago. The ground is perfect for the Young Master. He's been trained for one race and one race only. I know you can say that about the whole field. I think he's well handicapped. He won the Whitbread off the same mark, 148, and I just think he's the one that ticks most boxes for me.
Okay, Frank, who's your number one?
Yeah, it's tough to have a number one. I have like a short list of three.
We'll get the others, but come on, who's your pick?
If you had to put a gun to my head...
Sounds like I'm going to have to.
Come on, Frank.
I can't split Vicente and Definitely Red. I might just chance Vicente at the prices. Like, this year's form wouldn't be amounting to much if you were to purely be judging him on that. He disappointed when he fell in the Hennessy. He went to the Welsh National, finished sixth, beaten 27 lengths, but the ground would have been soft enough for him. Then went to Doncaster, beaten sixth. He was sixth again, beaten 32 lengths, and he's beaten 48 lengths of Haydock. But again, he never really got his ground. Now, he's been purchased by Trevor Hemmings, but when you go back to the Scottish National last year, he got his ground and he just ate up the ground at the finish that day. He won by 2.5 lengths from Alvarado and See You at Midnight. As I said, Trevor Hemmings has bought it. Brian Hughes is on it, who I saw someone mention during the week he might suit it. He's quite enough in this horse, quite enough style, and it might suit this horse. I just think, I was talking to one of my compilers colleagues today, and if this horse is in the first 5 or 6, you know, within 5 or 8 lengths, 2 out, this will win. As in, it'll be the strongest there. I've no doubt about that. Whether he'll still be there, you need luck and wrong in the National, but if he's there 2 out, he'll have a massive chance.
Oh, you sound pretty confident. Right, we'll get the second and third from the lads now. Kills, who are the other 2 horses you most like to put up?
Yeah, big prices. I sort of tend to stay away from the short prices, especially at this stage until the morning of the race. So I also put up Dropout Joe, who, you know, he's a sort of horse that could blow out completely because he hasn't run for ages. But I mean, he's pretty lethal when he's fresh. He goes really well fresh. He won the Badger Rails a couple of seasons ago. He actually only went off at 4-1 to give £2 and a beating to the last Samurai at Doncaster last year. He didn't run well then, but he'd been running a fair bit. If he comes back to his best form, he's a massive price at 66-1. I mean, his last run, he won a valuable race at Uttoxeter over 3.25 miles. Obviously, that was in June, so it's a long while ago. But he is a horse that wants to be fresh. I like him. I like Wonderful Charm, who I backed for the race last year. He had no chance once the ground went soft, but it'll be better for him this time. He's got Katie Walsh in the saddle. He probably should have won the Fox Hunters. In fact, would have done if Katie Walsh hadn't tried to track the disappointing On the Fringe all the way round because he was miles out of his ground and flew home. I think he'll go well. And I also like Lord Windermere at a price. I think he's dropped to a very, very interesting mark of 147. He didn't show much in it when he ran in the race a couple of years ago. But it's quite interesting. Jim Collett, he's booked Leighton Aspel, and we know what a good record he's got around that with having ridden many clouds and Pinot de Ray. I find that quite interesting that he's booked him, and it's 50 to 1 shot.
I was going to say that, a Gold Cup winner running in the Grand National of 10-10, you'd kind of kick yourself if he won, but his form just absolutely has completely fallen apart.
Yeah, completely gone, but he was only beaten ahead by Champagne Fever first time up this season. It wasn't, he ran reasonably well then. The rest of his form is poor. But he likes decent ground. He might just have been prepared for this. And I think Jim Colletti's had a slightly better season than he had over the previous couple as well. And, I could just see him going well at a price. And when they're 50 to 1, you take a chance. You're not going to have an awful lot of ticks in the boxes, are you, for those sort of prices?
Absolutely. DJ, who are the others that you like?
The one I like at a huge price, and he's probably my idea of the horse that'll run best from an Irish angle, is Stellar Notion. Now, he was 66 to 1 earlier on in the week, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. I think he's down to 33s now with Powers. He has some cracking form in really good handicap chases this year. He was second to Tiger Roll in the Munster National. He was just beaten the neck, I think, by a Toy Fwill in the Leopardstown Chase. And before that, he was 4 to Noble Endeavour in the Paddy Power. That was a really good race. Noble Endeavour beat the Crafty Butcher. And just the way Henry's jump fences, he just has this knack of getting them into a rhythm. And I've no doubt that Stellar Notion will get around. He's a 9-year-old. He's improving. Like, they thought a lot of him earlier on in his career, and I guess after that Leopardstown Chase second to Toy Phil, this has been the plan. He's just one that might be improving. He's off 10.9, he's rated 146. At a big price, he's interesting.
Okay, Frank, you've already given away the other one that you like, haven't you? It's definitely
red,
isn't it?
Yeah, I joked in the office here a couple of weeks ago. They did a little bit of a meet a department, and it was the racing department's turn for the monthly newsletter, and we put up our best bet, and I put up for a laugh Vicente definitely red reverse forecast. My thinking being, if it didn't come in, you just say, look, it's the Grand National, what do you expect? And if it does come in, you're a legend. But definitely red has got unbelievably solid claims. I think he races, he'll be up there. We won't make it, but he just has to be in the front dozen, which you'd want, I think. He jumps relatively well. They have a massive opinion of him. He couldn't have been any more impressive at Doncaster the last day. I think he should stay. There's very little to not like about this horse. Again, I'm probably in for an argument tomorrow when we price this up. I think 1 or 2 are against him, but I think he's, again, granted luck and running. I can't see how he can't be involved. He can't be in the first 5 or 6.
Okay, we'll be back for more Grand National tips in just a mo.
Paddy's gearing up for the Grand National with this incredible horse racing offer. We'll pay you if your horse finishes in the first 6. Applies to the place part of E-Trade bets at 1 to 5 odds. T&C supply 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, so we've heard from the chaps on who their main fancies are. Of the ones that are up there in the betting and prominent, who are the ones that you've got slight doubts about and that you wouldn't be in a great rush to back? Paul Keeley.
Right, yeah, I just heard Frank talking up definitely red, but the 2 biggest fields he's running over fences, he's fallen and unseated. And the unseat came at Haydock, and you couldn't get softer fences anywhere in the country than Haydock. So it just worries me with a big field for him. Vieux Leon Rouge, I don't think he stayed last year. The slightly faster ground will make it easier for him to get home this time, but he does like soft ground. Cause of Causes is prepared every year for Cheltenham. I can see him blowing out. And I think the last Samurai's got too much weight this year. He's £12 higher than last year.
Righty-ho. David, any you want to write off and make yourself look an absolute fool?
Yeah, I don't like Definitely Red. Sorry, Frank. I just thought he jumped so poorly in the 4-miler at Cheltenham last year. I think he made a mistake. I can remember, certainly, he lost his place early. He clattered one in the middle of the race. He made a desperate mistake at the 3rd last, and then I think he fell at the 2nd last. I know his jumping has improved a little bit this year, but he wasn't great. Again, even at Haydock, as Paul said, the fences are pretty soft, and he made mistakes before he fell that day. He looked good the last day, but I can't have him. I also can't have Vieux Leon Rouge like Paul. And of the others at the top of the market, Cause of Causes is a chance. He's fairly versatile. It's a type of challenge that might suit him. But yeah, Vieux Leon Rouge and Definitely Red. I'd definitely be against Definitely Red.
Righty-ho. Any you want to write off, Frank?
I have plenty I want to write off. I wouldn't be surprised to see more of that go off Fav, but I wouldn't be with him. Like, yeah, people keep banging on, oh, he's the class act. Yeah, he was the class act 2 years ago or more, whatever, 3 years ago.
John Joe's always so sweet on him, isn't it? It's almost like when some of the flat boys try and, talk up a stallion, but obviously more of that hasn't got the equipment for that. But so he obviously just does really rate him. But just that there's more disappointments than good days with him.
Do you know what it
there?
reminds me of, Bruce? Is, do you know when you're with a girl when you're about 20 and she's absolutely beautiful, and then you meet her 15 years later and she's not so beautiful, should we say? More of that is a bit similar to that. He was good back in his day, but his day is gone.
Tragically, at 20, I was never seen anywhere near a beautiful woman.
But I would be against him, even though I think I can see him going off favourite. I would be against the Last Samurai from a win perspective based on the weight. I think he's very likely to run his race and be in the first 7 or 8, but I think the weight will get to him. And Safra Daru is another one I couldn't have. I think Sam Twiston-Davis, I'm not sure if he had the choice or not of riding Vicente, but Safra Daru getting round 4 miles, 3 or 2.5, whatever it is, no chance. I think he might travel well to about 3 out if he even gets that far, but he has no chance winning this.
Of the horses that are less than 20 to 1, one that we haven't discussed yet is One for Arthur. Kills, you got a view on him?
Yeah, I backed him for the Beecher early in the season, and he started off. He jumped really slowly the first couple of fences, and he took time to warm up, but he really got into it after that, and he was a fast closing 5th, and he's come out and he's won the Betfred Classic of Warwick since. He's decent. I think he likes soft ground. Let's probably say it was unusual for him in Milan, but he goes well on soft ground. I wonder whether he'll get a bit too far behind if they go fast on what is going to be, faster ground than he probably wants.
Okay, fair enough. Righty-ho, in terms of the Irish Challenge, have you bothered to top them up, David? How many Irish have we got? It must be, would you say majority Irish?
Is there 8? Let me see.
More than 8, isn't there?
Oh, maybe there is, yeah. 1, 2...
While David counts them up,
3,
Frank, are you betting on
4,
where the winner will be trained?
We do. A UK winner is 1 to 4, and an Irish trained winner is 5 to 2.
As with the Bet Bright Cup at Cheltenham, I fancy the Irish. You got a view on that one,
11.
Kills? 11 Irish horses, 29 Brits.
Well, there's 11 in there, so it is a numbers game. I mean, I do quite like quite a few of the Irish ones. You can see Pleasant Company going very well. Obviously, won the Bobby Joe Chase last time, and if you fancy him, you've got to give Mouse Morris's other one, Thunder and Roses, a chance because he was only beating half length off Levels, and he's £5 better off. Uccello Conti got round last year. They've got plenty that have got decent chances. So certainly wouldn't surprise me if it was an Irish winner.
I've backed a horse called Wounded Warrior. Can anyone give me any inspiration on that one?
I'll let Dave take over here. We're both Wounded Warrior fans, but he just doesn't do it for me.
Now, Noel is a pretty positive trainer. He does fancy most of his horses, but I think this schooled really well, apparently, over the national fences. Apparently, he loved it, the new challenge. They think they have him back right. They've left the headgear off this time because he just seemed to hate it the last day at Fairyheads. I strongly fancied him in that Bobby Joe Chase. And after 2 fences, I was going, oh my God, I will never back this horse again. But Sean Flanagan does get on well with him, and I know he schools him at home. Like, if you go back through his form and that form in the RSA and everything, like, he is quite well handicapped off 153. So, no, I wouldn't put you off. Noel Mead horses are my guilty pleasures, so yeah, I wouldn't put you off.
And have you got, Frank, any prices on Gigginstown winning it?
We do.
Go on then.
They're 9 to 1 to win the race.
That might be my bet, I think. There's so many of them that I fancy. I don't know. I just feel like those horses, they've got some quads, they've got some back form, haven't they? Measure My Dreams is a bit like that as well. He's got some back form, so I'm interested there. So I think the chaps have named their best outsider. Let's just reiterate. If you're going for one horse at 50 to 1 or bigger, Kills, who are you going for?
Yeah, the Dropout Joe.
Dropout Joe. DJ?
I'd go for Stellar Notion, but he's only 33s, is he?
Just about 50 now, I think.
He's 50.
50.
50,
okay.
So will that do?
Yeah, that sneaks in. 50 is 50 or bigger, so well done. And what do you think, Frank?
Dr. Harper has crept in at number 40.
Oh,
he's
that
horse.
bloody horse. Oh, my God.
He is bloody, but the blinkers go on first time he's gone in.
I know.
Like, his best run ever was at Aintree 3 years ago when he won the 3 mile handicap hurdle. He's not much higher. He's 66 to 1 in a couple of places. 50 to 1, I think, and nearly everywhere.
That horse has run 19 times. I have definitely backed him 18 times.
Yeah, at that price, I like at that price in 6
I'll
plays, he
probably
wouldn't
back
be
him
one.
again, yeah.
You got to, haven't you?
I would be backing him, to be honest, as probably my 4th choice after Definitely Red, Vicente and the Young Master.
OK, on Monday's Postcast, we asked you which jockey rode a treble at Doncaster last Saturday. The answer, of course, was Ryan Moore. And the winner of this week's free £25 bet from Paddy Power is Patrick Morley from Manchester. Well done, Patrick. The free bet has been added to your Paddy Power account. And for another chance to win, simply tune into our weekend review postcast on Monday. And we've also got our football postcast every Thursday, which also has a free bet competition. So tune into that.
Paddy's gearing up for the Grand National with this incredible horse racing offer. We'll pay you if your horse finishes in the first 6. Applies to the place part of E-Trade bets at 1 to 5 odds. T&C supply 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
OK, obviously the Grand National is all about picking the winner of the 40 runners, but there's loads of other derivative markets coming off there. We've already found out that an Irish winner is 5 to 2, a Gigginstown winner is 9 to 1. What other specials have you got for us, Frank?
JP McManus owned winner is 5 to 1. Gordon Elliott trained winner is 11 to 2. We have the Who Will Go Off SP Fav. Any other horses 2 to 1. Ville en Route 11 to 4. Definitely Red 3 to 1. The Last Samurai 5 to 1. Cause of Cause is 7 to 1. Black Line 14 to 1. Do we have anything else?
Oh, well, Kills, while you're having a little route through the cupboard there, Frank, I mean, the Who Will Go Off favourite market, I happen to agree with Frank that I think more of that, who's covered in the 2 to 1, any other horse may well be the plunge horse. But you've got to remember Munker Hostin, haven't you? Pretty much anything can go off favourite.
Yeah, that was one of the most amazing years of all, that was, because how a horse that small could be fancied to win a Grand National, I do not know. And it was like 40 to 1 in the morning, wasn't it? And, went off favourite. It was ridiculous. I don't see where that big gamble is coming from this year. It wouldn't surprise me if it was any other horse which is the favourite. I mean, I think more of that is probably the horse most likely to go off favourite. I still think there'll be a fair run on Rogue Angel as well. I think it might be 25 to 1.
Could people get stuck into Ruby on Pleasant Company?
Well, they're the two. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think if those two running for you, Pleasant Company and more of that, I think they'll go off first and second favourite.
You can't tell though, can you? The market just does funny things. It picks one particular horse up and goes with it, doesn't it? But, OK, what else have we got then, Frank, by way of specials? Number of finishers.
Number of finishers. I can't.
You must be doing the finish.
We probably have it, but I can't put my hands in it there.
I'm just trying to think, Kills, what's it been like in recent years? I think the obvious answer is
17 or 18, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, given that the fences are a bit easier, you'd expect a few to get round, Kills, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd expect more to get round when the ground is dry. And I think quite a few got round last year in very soft ground, didn't they? So yeah, I'd certainly be looking towards the high end. But I mean, obviously we don't know the prices, so it depends. If they're going sort of even money, 18 or more, I would be interested. But if it was 7 or 4 or something, it would be of interest.
OK, very quickly, lads, just the name of the horses I want you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll spin through the rest of the Saturday card. Keels.
Right, yes. Rogue Angel, Dropout Joe, Lord Windermere, and the other thing I mentioned, I can't remember the bloody name of it now. Wonderful Charm.
Wonderful Charm. David Jennings.
The Young Master, number 1. Number 2, Stellar Notion. Number 3, The Last Samurai. And number 4, I'll go for More of That.
OK, and Frank Hickey.
Vicente, number 1, Definitely Red. 2, The Young Master. 3, Dr. Harper. 4.
Excellent. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's look at the rest of the card. And at 4:20, you've got the big supporting race. It's the 3-mile Grade 1 hurdle, for which Frank Yanworth, I believe, heads the market.
He does. He is 7
Who just
to 4.
yawned?
Me, sorry.
Why?
Oh, I was tired. Sorry.
Oh, OK, fair enough.
So Yanworth 7 to 4, Cole Hardin's 9 to 2, the new one 7 to 1, Ballyoptic and Super Sunday are 8 to 1, Snow Falcon 12 to 1, Petit Zig 16 to 1, and we're 20 to 1 bar.
Right, before you drop off completely, DJ, give us your verdict on this one.
Well, I said that Noel Mead horses were my guilty pleasure. I'm very keen on backing Snow Falcon without Yanworth here. I think the Aintree track is tailor-made for him. I think he's a flat track horse. I'm not convinced he gets up the hill at Cheltenham. Travelled very well, I thought, in the Stayers hurdle. He ended up finishing 5th to Nichols Canyon. Made 2 mistakes during the race, which is a little bit not like him, because his jumping has improved over the last couple of years. Janwert could eat these up and could win on the bridle. He really could. I thought he was a champion hurdle winner in waiting, but he was disappointing, and I don't think it was entirely the trip that was solely to blame for his poor run in the champion hurdle.
It was his ability as well. Massively overrated horse.
Yeah, I'm not convinced by that either. I think he's a very good horse. I think his form tells you that. I thought the run against York Hill, given what went wrong, was exceptional. He's beaten Chanteau Village, Le Parisienne, Charbel. I think his form does stack up. He could win this on the bridle, but I'll be back in Snow Falcon without him.
Who will you be backing, Kills?
Yeah, I'm going to take that. I agree with you, Bruce. I mean, Yamruth is the Zarkandar of his generation. He's a staying 2-miler who isn't going to improve at all for going up in trip. He'll just be the same horse. And if there's anything any good, they'll beat him. That's the way I've got him pegged at the moment. I'm going to take a chance on the Coral Cup winner, Super Sunday. I think he's just come into his own this year for Jessica Harrington. He took it up a fair way out at Cheltenham and just kept finding more and more and more. And if he stays 3 miles, he just becomes quite an interesting horse. And I think he just loves decent ground, and the track will suit him perfectly. I'll give him a shot. He's a fair price, I think.
I hear you, bro. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I thought Yammer was one worth taking on. Like that Cheltenham run, I know you could say 2 miles too short for him, but he was beaten before even coming down the hill. And I was struggling to really see, so I was kind of, not with much confidence, going to give Ballyoptic one last chance at the price.
Blimey. You've had a head transplant with Ed Quigley.
Yeah, I know, Ed is very keen on him, but the return to Aintree might just suit. Like, on his best form this year, when he was upside snow, well, very close to Notamine Harry with falling in Ascot, like if he could replicate that, it might well be good enough. I don't think this is much of a race, to be honest. The track form is what I'm clinging to. But yeah, I'd give him a squeak each way.
Okay, let's do the 225. It's the Novices Chase, the Grade 1 for which Finian's Oscar heads the market.
Oh, the Mersey Novice Hurdle.
That's it. Sorry, the Novice Hurdle.
Finian's Oscar is 5-2, Brio Conti 7-2, Le Briol 9-2, Lockdork Spirit and Mizir des Aubors 6-1. Mount Muse 8-1, Captain Ferez 11-1, High Bridge, Moulin Avant, West Approach 12-1 and 16-1 Bar.
Kills, away you go.
Yeah, there's a bet here. Captain Forres. I'm absolutely convinced he's going to be a top-class chaser in a couple of years' time, but he's got plenty to find on his form at the moment. The trainer was going to run him in the Adonis Hurdle after he finished second to Capitan at Ascot. He's going to have improved dramatically after having 3.5 months off. And it was funny, on RUK earlier on this week, Harry Skelton was on, having bolted up on a horse from Wincanton, and they came in and asked him about Aintree, and he said the only horse he's really, really looking forward to riding was Captain Forres. So, he has improved out of all recognition, and I've just got him down as a top-class horse, and I don't think Finian's Oscar's form's all that good. Brio Conti only won a handicap off a low mark, so I think this is very winnable.
Captain Forres at 11-1 for Kills. Who for DJ?
I love Le Bruel, trained by Ben Pauling. I think he could be very, very good. I thought he was brilliant last time at Newbury. He's a really good attitude, and his jumping is just electric. If you see a slicker jumper of, especially a novice hurdler, a slicker jumper of hurdles, I'd be surprised. He's really, really good. I do think the step up and trip is going to suit High Bridge. I was keen on his chances in the Supreme, but he was just completely outpaced, and he was too wide the whole way. He is probably a flat track horse. At a double figure price, I could see High Bridge going well, but I'm a big fan of Le Bruel.
Frank?
Yeah, it's a bit of an argument. When the combiners today, I thought Brio Conti couldn't have been any more impressive the last day at Kempton. I thought that was a relatively decent handicap hurdle, and he turned into procession. 3.5 lengths doesn't do him justice at all. I know he only won off 134, but since stepping up to 2.5 on good ground, like he absolutely hosed up at Doncaster the time before, beating a Nicky Henderson Fav when he ready Freddy. And I just thought Paul Nicholls mentioned this race straight after Kempton and compared him to Lac Fontana, who won this race a few years back. And I just thought the way he travelled looked like he was on the upgrade in a big way. And I thought he would be difficult enough to beat.
Okie dokie, at 3 o'clock, we've got the Dunbar Maggle Novices Chase. And Charbel, unlucky at Cheltenham when falling in front in the Racing Post article. Dominates the market, Frank, doesn't he?
Charbel is our 10-11 favourite. Forrest Behan is 5-1. Politolog in Ordinary World 6-1. San Benedetto is 8-1. Maracuja 10-1. And Collier Pier is 50-1.
I was trying to work out how many of the three of you are going to tip Charbel. I'm going to go none. Paul Keeley?
No, I think it's a good thing.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's got anything to beat. I think he would definitely have been second in the Arkle. Cloudy Dream doesn't run because he ran today and just got chinned, unfortunately, by Flying Angel, who also doesn't run. I can't see what can really beat him.
Okie doke. Can you see beyond him, DJ?
I can, yeah. I fancy Politolog. I think he's crying out for a step down in trip. I didn't think they were able to ride him aggressively in the JLT because, you know, I think they thought he would just about get the trip. He was never going to be a 3-mile chaser. He needs to be ridden positively, like Charbel was in the Arkle. Politolog needs to be ridden like that. I think he's an exceptional jumper. I think 2 miles is his trip, and I think he's a better horse than Charbel.
Righty-ho, Frank, who do you think?
I'd be with Charbel all day long, Bruce.
Okay, 2 out of 3.
I think he would have given Altior a run for his money. I don't think he would have beaten, but he would have given him a right run. And as long as he's over that fall, I think he's going to be difficult to beat.
Okay, right. Anything else at Aintree, chaps, that you want to mention? Kills?
Yeah, if he runs the handicap chase at 3:40, Starkitect going up the 3 mile will win.
Okay, DJ?
The 6:15, by this stage we'll all be absolutely broke, but Wakea, trained by Carol Thornton here beside me actually in Skerries in North Dublin, he was the horse that went miles clear in the county hurdle, if you remember. I think he went maybe 20 lengths, 25 lengths clear at one stage. You'll be probably surprised to hear he was only beaten 5 1/4 lengths by Arctic Fire. That was his first run since November. Dunamyler is probably the best race to conditional. He's really, really good. And Aintree is going to suit him, and he's going to come on a ton for... That was his first run in 5 months. And I think he worked well during the week as well. So I'm pretty keen on Wakea, number 2, in the 6:15.
Beautifully labelled at the end there, DJ. Frank, who do you want to put up?
I would agree with David. Wakea is very, very interesting in that handicap hurdle. I think Aintree can suit the front runners and he might get loose on the front. There's a couple I liked. Actually, I would give a squeak to Henry Parry Morgan in the handicap chase, the 3:40. Return to Aintree, probably his best run last year was second to Native River. Now he's been a bit out of form this year, but his handicap mark has dropped as a result, and I could see him going well at a price. I think it's about 14-1 with us. And one more, Barney Dwan, very nearly did it for me at Cheltenham in the Pretems. He ran an absolute belter, but just bumped into one, and he runs in the 1:45, the 3 mile handicap hurdle. Now he's got on £5, but I had a look at the race, and I still think there's a bit in him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gained a bit of compensation.
So we need to keep the faith, do we, in Barney Dwan. Okay, Leopardstown Station, decent flat action if jumping is not your thing. On Saturday, we've got the 1,000 guineas and 2,000 guineas trials and the Ballysacks. DJ, any horses due to run at Leopardstown on Saturday that we should have on our radar?
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it? Kind of during the national or
it
during
really
the
is, yeah. It's normally Sunday, this card, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a strange one. Well, my horse to follow for the whole season was a horse trained by Gerlines called Glastonbury Song that's entered in the 2,000 guineas trial. I spoke to Colin Keane during the middle of last season. I said, Colin, just give me one horse for the year. You know, is there any one you're looking forward to? And he kind of didn't want to give that away, but he goes, we've this Colt by Casamento, and he hadn't been named at that stage, and I kept at him, and it ended up being Glastonbury Song, who absolutely bolted up on his first start at Dundalk. Won by, I think, it went off 4-6, won by 2 1/4 lengths, but I think he could be very good, and he'd probably be a price in that 220 if he runs. In the 1,000 guineas trial, it's interesting to see Intricately is entered for Joseph O'Brien, and Hydrangea. You've got Promise to Be True. It's a good race. Hopefully one of Hydrangea or Promise to Be True runs. I think Promise to Be True could be a dark horse for the Oaks, or a dark filly for the Oaks even. And in the Ballysacks, I haven't given it too much thought, but I thought Capri or Yucatan, if one of them two ran, obviously both won't run, they're both trained by Aidan O'Brien. Possibly Yucatan I thought would be interesting if he ran.
I think I'm on Capri for the Derby. Anything you like at Leopardstown Saturday, Frankie?
Nothing I was overly positive about. Just in the Ballysacks, take a bit of a stab in the dark. Jim Bulger has a decent enough record in this race. I think he's won it 4 times in the last 11 years. That Dubai Sand looked like he was improving with every run last year. He won his 3rd run at Leopardstown, a listed race. He's got all the entries this year. He's in the Dante, the Derby, the Irish Derby, the 2,000 guineas. I don't know what kind of price to be. He could be 7 or 8 to 1, depending on how many Aidan runs. I might give him a bit of a squeak. In the 115, there was a horse called Ma Fi Hila, I think you pronounce it. It was 7 to 1 into 7 to 4 on debut at Naas from Michael O'Callaghan. Finished second, well beaten in the end, but that gamble was a bit eye-catching. He could go well. And anything Jessie Harrington's running at the moment is worth keeping an eye on. She is one that might be in that 2 World War attacks. I'd be keeping an eye on that.
Okay.
But I have nothing really strong.
Jolly good. Okay, chaps, thank you very much indeed. Now, Kills, you've been saying that your last few Saturdays of punting have been a bit disastrous, haven't they? So are you confident you're going to turn it around this Saturday?
Well, I hope so. It's going to change at some point, mate. But no, it's not been great this year. The midweek's been fine, so I'm still in front. But Saturdays has been dreadful.
And where are you going to watch the Nash?
Probably in my local Irish boozer on Saturday morning.
Up the Irish.
Yeah, we'll be having plenty in there and a game of cards afterwards, as usual.
Lovely stuff. DJ, what are you going to be doing this weekend?
I'm working in Leopardstown Saturday and Naas Sunday.
Excellent. Oh, that'll keep you honest. And Frank, what about you? Grafting?
No, I fly out on honeymoon
Oh,
Saturday.
yes, you do, don't
during
you?
the National. Now, we're hoping, apparently I've never flown with Emirates, but my missus says they're a great airline and have wireless, have Wi-Fi and everything on the plane, so I'm hoping to get to watch it. They might even realise it's our honeymoon and bump us up, you never know.
Lovely.
So, we're flying out on Saturday.
So you're off to the Maldives, aren't you? And then Dubai,
the Maldives
is that right?
for a week and Dubai for a week, yeah. So,
fantastic. Well,
looking forward to that.
Will you be going to I was going to say Nad Al Shub, will you be going to Maidan?
Well, there's no racing on, I don't think, so I think the only thing I definitely planned is there's a water park called Atlantis that's supposed to be brilliant.
Yes, it is.
And
I've been
I'll
to
be going
Atlantis.
to
Yeah, Atlantis is absolutely fantastic. You'll have a great time there. Well,
That's
listen,
where I'm going like a big child.
no, it's superb there, and if you can get to feed the dolphins as well, that's a really good experience. Frank,
I'll give it a go.
have a fantastic time. We look forward to getting you back on the podcast when you get back. Thank you, Kills. Thanks, DJ. Have a great weekend. We are back on Monday to review all the weekend action. Good luck with your Grand National bets.
Paddy Power stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC. Unlike some other high street bookies, Paddy Power, you beauty!